correspondent Hannane Ferdjani, who's following the story for us. Hannane, as the president said, they seem to be very well organised. They seem to be very well trained. Still very unclear exactly who they were, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Although we've heard in the soundbite that you just played right now, which is part of a speech that was published yesterday on social media, President Mbalo seemed to believe that the attack could be related to people involved in drug trafficking, but gave no further detail. And those allegations definitely did not lift the sense of confusion that's been felt across the region beyond the borders of Guinea-Bissau since yesterday, when news broke out that heavy gunfire were happening and broke out near the presidential palace. It might be worth noting, however, that the West African coastal country, which struggles with massive foreign debt, has been known as a transit point for Latin American drugs, leading it to be dubbed by certain people, by certain observers, a narco state. So back in 2018, for example, a United Nations official estimated that some 30 metric tons of Latin American drugs, cocaine in particular, enter the country each year. And according to other reports, while the military has been also involved in this drug trafficking, facilitating the entry of the drugs, and they have historically also been involved in many attempted coups and coups since the country gained independence back in 1974. So I guess it remains to be seen if that theory holds water in the next, few days, a few weeks, when the investigation continues and when the government gives more details as to what happened yesterday.
For now, though, I mean, it does seem that the government seems at least to be back in control.
Well, absolutely. That's what they said actually yesterday evening, and there are reports this morning that the situation in the city, in the capital city of Bissau, has returned to a somewhat normal state. I might need to remind you that yesterday there was sort of sense of panic amongst the people that were in the surroundings of the events, that were sort of fleeing the area, sort of being very worried about their own lives. And as the president also mentioned in his message to the nation yesterday, many people were dead. We don't know how many people were killed in those events, but the situation seems to be back to normal. I also want to maybe just remind you, for better context, that the country is no stranger to political turmoil and political crises since it has obtained its independence in 1974. Well, there have been reportedly at least 9 attempted coups that have taken place, and incumbent President Umaro Mbalo, who has been in power since 2020, since January 2020, also faced a sort of contested election back 2 years ago, and was in a basically tussle between him and the opposing candidate, which lasted a few months before it was resolved and before he could actually be in office. So there is sort of this repeated history of political turmoil in the country that we've seen repeat itself, unfortunately, yesterday.